Welcome to Two Guys, Two Questions, a chaotic, unscripted podcast.
Yeah, surprise questions with no prep.
I'm Ryan Keaton, a real estate guy who's happiest with an ocean view.
And I'm Jarrod Greer, a retro toy fanatic / loather who may or may not have a Batman cape within arm's reach right now.
You definitely do.
You don't know that.
From alligators to vibrators, superheroes to existential crisis, we cover it all.
Plus, every month we'll bring in a mystery guest and try to keep things extra.
So if you like spontaneous conversations, French bulldogs stealing the show, and two guys who think they're funnier than they probably are, then you're in the right place.
Yep, well, enough of this. Let's do this. Two Guys, Two Questions starts now. Here we are, and we've now been joined in progress shooting shit about the potential of me buying a shitty property with a nice garage on it. But if you were going to, it's on a bad side of town. So if you were going to buy a house on the shitty side of town, do you just have to start buying every house down the street?
If you're trying to do it as an investment opportunity, more than likely, that's what you would need.
Yeah. Does that make you an asshole?
You know, it's the problem is that most of the houses over there. So I don't think that this is quite like what I dealt with one time whenever I was did some consulting work for a company that was an investment real estate company in Lexington. Now, what they were intentionally trying to do was to buy up properties in a specific type of area, which is why I no longer decided to consult with them, because they were intentionally wanting to buy properties in specific areas with downtrodden properties so they could basically indirectly relocate people and make them a higher price. This is more or less, I think what Turley is just more or less rundown properties that have been abandoned, majority of them, because you can drive down the street and have a couple decent properties, but for the most part, it's just a bunch of abandoned houses that, because the thing is, crime and that kind of stuff, typically, if you start gentrifying, is probably it is what it is. But the thing is that we're also an area where you don't have a lot of lower income housing. Yeah. You know, it's getting tougher and tougher to find people that are approved for, say, 100,000, or under. Just about can't find those properties anymore. It just doesn't exist if it's supposed to be move-in ready. That may be an area to where you could get things enough and fix up the main things and put a little lipstick on it. You could probably get some entry-level properties for people.
How have, we've never talked about this, but how have FHA and those kind of things adapted to housing prices now? Because doesn't FHA have a cap?
Well, yes, FHA, USDA, those kind of things have a cap on how much money you can make, and that money is based.
No, I'm saying how much can the property be?
Not really.
They don't have a cap on it. Okay.
I mean, if they do, it's so obscene.
Yeah,
it doesn't affect our market. Period. Yeah. You could do an FHA probably at the highest price point in our market.
Yeah, but if you make $30,000 a year, they're not going to let you buy $350,000 home.
Well, no, that's where the qualifications come in, and that's where I was talking about where you have somebody that's maybe making $30,000 a year, and they could maybe buy an $85,000 house. Finding them an option that would qualify for FHA is pretty tough.
I don't know if those properties even exist anymore. Bottom line here is I don't really want to be a slumlord, but I do like to have a 2-car garage, even though it's on the bad side of town.
Yeah.
Because I could put more shit in it. I don't know. It's, well, now, anyway, what else up?
I would just say having a cheap property, there's a difference between having a cheap property that you've made correctable enough for someone to live in versus being a slumlord. To me, as a slumlord, has a piece of shit property, knows that there's all kinds of issues with it, and they still don't fix it because they got the people stuck. I don't feel like you'd be that way.
No,
I think you'd make it livable. You'd fix what need to be fixed.
So I think I'd probably be a horrible landlord because I'd never make any money at it.
Be a softie. Yeah. You'd have to put one of the girls on that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yep, not me. I can't even. We've talked about this ad nauseum, but I can't even get rid of shitty employees. I'm bad at that.
Stick on.
Anyway, what else up? Anything? Tell me something good.
I'll tell you something good, man. We did the trip down to Red River Gorge this weekend.
Shit, yeah.
We did it was a few different things. So I'll start with the not that they were negative, but there was one of the big positives is that we did a cave tour kayaking that was basically an old abandoned limestone.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
And you kayak through it?
Yeah, you kayak through it.
Is it lit?
It's guided. Yeah. So what they do is that it's guided. It's not lit. You have little head things, and they have some black, they have some lighting to where you know which way to go, and you have a little headlamp.
Okay.
And then, whenever you go up there, it's a guided tour, hour or so. But they were telling us is after you've been there once, they have unguided tours to where that you can basically go back in, and they have stuff lit up. So it's probably 7 or 8 miles of whatever of little trails, but there's stuff's lit up in there to show you how to get from point A to point B. But one of the things I was going to ask you is that you been back in the woods a little bit, probably done a little bit of, not necessarily hiking, but you've been on hiking trails and stuff because it's getting you back to where you want to go. How many times that you've been on trails? Because I've done a decent amount of hiking in Gatlinburg and Arizona, different states. One thing that I've never seen consistently was guys in blue jeans, total blue jean pants, no shirt, and a beard. Apparently, all of them had gotten released and sent to Red River Gorge because that's trail,
kind of a thing now.
I've never seen it before. I've never run across anybody.
We're in lumberjack culture these days.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think all the 30
and missed that memo.
All the 30-year-old dudes have big beards and walk around with no shirt and blue jeans on. I think they sent out a memo about it. I don't.
I guess I didn't get the
shave.
memo. Oh, you're thinking about going hiking
about it, but I definitely get what you're saying. I have seen that a lot. I saw a thing on the news yesterday that said beards. This was the 5th great beard era of of like human history. One of them was the Renaissance, and one was like but I guess some point in the 30s or whatever, people quit wearing beards, or beards went completely out of fashion, and they didn't really make
days.
Yeah, didn't really make a big comeback until, then I guess 10 years ago or so. I don't know. I feel like the news story I saw was a little late because they were saying how in beards were, and I thought, no, that's been a minute.
It's been a while.
It's been a bit, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen lots of beards.
Lots of dudes now wearing just a mustache.
Well, yeah, that's definitely
that's a thing now.
Mustaches and mullets are back.
That kind of weirds me out a little bit.
What about the mullet?
Yeah, I've seen some of them.
There's lots of mullets out there.
Man, I had the best fucking mullet ever in college.
I'm so glad I never rocked a mullet.
Dude, I had totally the best mullet ever. I'm like, freshman year of college, we went to Myrtle Beach, and Jackson and Matt and Oscar got me drunk and took me and got my hair cut at the beach.
That's good. Right there.
Yeah, I came back from the beach with my hair cut short.
Didn't know it was coming.
No. That'd be bad.
But yeah, I wasn't anticipating the vast amount of beardless, shirtless, blue jeans. And these were, like you said, they were all 30s. It was funny because it was either that or it was 75, 80-year-old people.
So when I opened the pet store, I hired a dude, Nate. Shout out to Nate, man. He was he's 30-something, but he was a guide on some fucking river up in New York somewhere. He took people salmon fishing, but he was just a grizzly fucking Adams, man.
Yeah.
But he was complete and total, highly educated dude, real smart, but he was in touch with his fucking natural self, man. Big beard. And I took him out in the woods with me one day. We went out fucking off, and I have him in woods he's never been in, and I've been in 7,000 times, and he's telling me what kind every tree is, and oh shit, don't touch that plant, it'll fuck you up, and if that one fucks you up, get this one, rub it on your taint, and it'll make that one not work, and
I'd love to have that knowledge.
He was just full of like herbal remedies.
Well, yeah, and full disclosure that every single one of these 20, 30, whatever kids that were out there, super nice, super respectful.
Yep.
Every time we going out, and there was, we'd passed them a couple different times on one trail, and we come back out and they were in the parking lot, and they're like, y'all have a good rest of the trip. I mean, it was super nice kids, but it was just
it is a generation of people, and I'm speaking specifically about people, let's say 25 to 35, not so much the under 25ers, but I feel like was raised and educated with the best of both worlds. They had decent education school-wise, but also they were raised on the fucking internet. They absorbed any kind of knowledge.
Went total hate
Yes,
shit.
yeah, before it went to total dog shit, I feel like.
Yeah.
But so there's a lot of 25 to 35-year-olds that are highly educated in the nuances of fucking plants or whatever, chickens or you name it, whatever the fuck. But I hate to say it, but probably don't know how to change a tire if they have a flat.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
I kind of am too.
I'm okay with that.
You know, kind of am too, and most of them are pretty good human beings.
Yep.
I feel like for the most part. That's kind of the sweet spot generation. I'm really unsure what happens with the 20-year-olds right now, or the 17 to 20-year-olds. And I feel like they're all mostly decent kids that lived, their education was interrupted by COVID. They don't really know. I don't know. I think a lot of them don't have the social skills that they need to have.
I think it's sad. I think I'm fearful for that generation just because of the amount of diversity and division and the hatred and being taught that you can't like that particular group, which are, and like I said, not divulging into political because it's all the same, but it's just, I feel like they're having to witness and having to see so much hate. And
well, the one thing about it though is they're going to have to make some hard decisions for themselves.
Yeah,
they got to decide what kind of people they're going to be. And
what kind of leaders do they want?
And kind of get on whatever side of it they think's right. And at its core, all I've ever expected of my kids is to analyze the situation in front of you and try to make the best decision you can.
Yep.
And try to be the best person you can. So I think that's what they're faced with, and I think they'll do okay. But yeah, I digress.
Yeah.
Blue jean wearing beard, motherfucker.
We're going to have one of our existential crises if we go down too
Fuck.
far on this.
Fuck. Anyway.
What about yourself, man? How did
what the fuck did I do? Oh, I went to Fort Wayne, Indiana.
That's I was
big
curious
snake
how
show.
that was.
Here's the thing.
I did see your post, by the way, just to interrupt you real quick, that basically said everything's completely different, but exactly the same 25 years later or whatever it was.
I don't, that show, without getting too far into the weeds on snakes, that show focuses on a certain kind of snakes that there aren't any other shows in the country that focus on those. And it's the kind of shit I'm into. So we went there, and it's a super small niche. The show is geared to a super small audience, and it's built around that community kind of, and they want, they want you to go there and make friends and meet like-minded people and all that thing and learn from each other. And I understand when I go someplace like that has a major social element that I'm an asshole. I don't like people. I don't want to go mingle. I don't want to talk to you.
I want to go sell my snakes.
I want to go sell you something. And the show was, I'd say 95% of the people that went there had an amazing show. Loved it. And I did too. There was so much cool shit to look at there. So many amazing snakes that I don't get to see a lot of places. I spent way too much money, but sales were pretty weak for me. I don't know what that means. It probably means that I had pretty basic normal shit, and there was other people there with a whole lot of standout cool stuff.
Yep.
But I don't know if I had went for all the, I guess, networking and social aspect, I would have had a killer time, but that's just not who I am. I don't know. I have a really hard time going into a room full of fucking strangers and sitting down at a table and drinking a beer and saying, tell me something, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I guess I'm just not that person. Luckily I took Katrina with me. She made friends with everybody there.
She was loving it.
Yeah. She just walks around the room and fucking talks to everybody. And she comes back and I say, oh, I wonder who that guy over there is. Oh, that's Edgar. He's, he's 27 years in the hobby. He breeds this. And, she knows everything about everybody. So luckily that worked out okay. I got to go to a really good sushi restaurant, which
Interesting.
Yeah, it was right beside the hotel.
So you go to Fort Wayne for sushi?
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, it was right beside the hotel, and we ended up eating there 2 nights in a row just because it was good the first night, and 13 steps away from my hotel room. So
That's always a plus.
Yeah.
That always makes it a lot better.
so it worked out. I didn't go to Fort Wayne to have sushi, but it all worked out.
Did you get a steak?
Oh.
Did not get a good steak there, huh?
Nope. There was we looked on the way there, and there was a couple places that looked promising, but in the end, we were tired, and sushi was where it was at. Fort Wayne is a longer drive than I care to drive again for a while.
Pretty haul, ain't it?
It's not super far, but it's like 5 hours, and 5 hours 6 hours about my limit in the car. If it's over 6 hours, I want to get away.
I'm probably pretty close to the same. Because I'll drive to Charlotte.
Yeah, I'll drive to Charlotte,
issue.
but that's about where I want to.
Now if I'm going because I'm going to get like a vacation, I'll plow on through to like a Baltimore or something like that to get on a cruise ship.
Anyway, I'm not sure if you know this. Tomorrow night and Saturday night, there is a large music festival in Ashland here.
Oh yeah.
Healing, Appalachia.
Yeah, I'd seen that. I mean, it's out there at that same thing.
Yeah.
I have had so many people say that going to that venue out there, which the musical acts are fun, you like them or you don't like them, that kind of stuff. Yeah. They're saying that getting into that is basically one of the rings of hell. The way that they going in and out of it just because of the way it's set up.
Mm.
I haven't had anybody go, oh my God, that is the best. Well, I take that back. I've never had anybody that has been to any other venue say that is a fantastic.
If you've ever been outside of Eastern Kentucky, you probably.
But I love the act. I mean, because in Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton's there tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And Tyler
Childers. So, I mean, I would have loved to.
Saturday night.
I would have loved to have went.
I bought tickets.
Okay.
Like 4 months ago or 5. Whenever they announced it, I bought tickets. I love Chris Stapleton, but I will not go. Chris Stapleton does not rise to the level that will take me out in public with 30,000 assholes that I probably went to high school with and don't care if I ever see again. Hey, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry. I love you all, but I don't need to go see you at the Boyd County Fairgrounds.
Yeah. Come on over. We'll have a beer on the porch.
Yeah, come on over here.
We'll turn Stapleton on.
Yeah. I am going to try to sneak out there on Saturday night to see Tyler Childers. But I'm going to go like an hour before he's supposed to take the stage. Hopefully stand as far away from other people as I can.
Man, I tell you what, you may want to do your homework. I don't know if you can get in and out.
Well, if I can, I can't. I'm gonna.
Your experiment's going to be driving out there and see if you can get in.
Yeah,
if not,
I think he's supposed to take the stage at 9, so I'll probably leave the house at like 7. Try to drive out there, see what happens.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an experience.
I'm anxious to hear about that because I honestly, would be somebody that I like Stapleton, but luckily I saw him maybe 2 years ago or something like that. Got to see him at I think it's called the Railbird or something down Lexington.
Railbird Festival. Yeah.
That easy. I mean, we had to do a little bit of walking, but I mean, it's because we were waiting for an Uber to get down the road or to walk to a friend. So, I mean, that was all just part of it, but it was easy to get in and out of it. But yeah, I don't know. I too would like to see Tyler Childers, but yeah, I don't have tickets. I can tell you that I had the opportunity and I don't have tickets.
Well, I wonder if you want to go see Chris Stapleton tomorrow night, I wonder if you could use my tickets to go see him, and then I could use them to go see Tyler.
Go see Tyler. Yep.
You could scope it out for me.
So tell you what version of hell. Yeah. Oh, we've got into the inner rings.
Yeah. I don't know. You know what? I didn't have a question. I'm just going to tell you.
Okay.
Didn't have one. But this leads me to one.
Okay.
So this is an important question, I think. And it can be, we could roll it around a little bit, massage it, flip it over, see if it's sunburned, whatever. But what's the best concert you ever been to and why?
Saw Shinedown a few times. It was really good. Pearl Jam is probably one of them that's up there for me. But
I saw Pearl Jam in Lexington a few years ago.
Yeah, that's what I said. I think we talked about that.
Yeah, might have been the same show. Yeah.
But the Railbird was good because, and two, part of that was, went with Bryce and Tristan went, and we had pretty good time with that.
I have never been to a concert in a festival setting in my adult life. My dad was big into bluegrass festivals when I was a kid. And
did you go to old Poppy Mountain?
He drugged me to a few, I think, over the years. But in my adult life by myself, I don't think I've ever been to a festival type setting. For me, the best concert of my life probably was Rush. I saw Rush in Cincinnati on the Roll the Bones tour with Primus, and Primus was awful in concert, believe it or not. I like Primus musically, but Rush just blew the fuck out of anything I've ever saw. I did see, and as far as polished show goes, it was pretty cool. And but it's 2 hours of my life I'll never get back. I did go see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Okay.
And as far as a polished stage show, man, that's where the fuck it's at. Yeah. They've been doing that same show for like 30 damn years.
They ought to have it down, yeah.
Yeah, it ought to be down to a science. But Rush I was probably 20 years old or something like that at the time, and it just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Lasers and stage show. Crazy.
Now, I'll tell you, we saw Lady Gaga.
Really?
And
that's one I'd probably go see.
But disclaimer, it was Lady Gaga doing more of a jazzy type of set.
Yeah.
Kind of some of the stuff she did with Tony Bennett.
You're telling me about this now.
And it was fantastic. She sprinkled in her hits, but it was more of a little bit of a jazzy twist to it, which was cool. But then, like I said, the one thing that she did was just stupid, was that she walked to the opposite end of the stage. She put her microphone down, walked to the opposite end of the stage, shut off told all the musicians, shut down, and she sang a cappella. And we were on the opposite side. We'd got probably 5 or 6 rows off of the thing, so we were fairly close. But you could hear her throughout this. And I mean, and this thing was much, much bigger than, Paramount or whatever. So, and I was like, holy shit, man, just the pipes and right on, like nothing. She was totally naked, vulnerable up there and hit everything perfect.
I went to see, you got to be a bluegrass fan, but I went to see Sam Bush at the Paramount here in Ashland about 2 weeks ago with my dad. My dad's a huge bluegrass fan, and Sam Bush is kind of like the mandolin king of the universe. So we went to that show, and it was one of the few things that I've seen at the Paramount that was pretty much sold out. It's the right demographic around here for bluegrass music, I guess, but that was a really good show.
We went to a rock concert there about a year or two ago.
They've had some pretty good.
It was really good. It was a real famous band. I mean, there was,
For those of you who don't know out there in the internet land, the Paramount Theater is this beautiful little theater in downtown Ashland that's historic as hell, and it's struggled over the last 30 years to maintain relevance, I think. But over the last few years, whoever's doing the booking there has been knocking it out of the park. They've been getting...
Because it's a huge variety.
Yeah.
I mean, you may have Sam Bush that nobody cares about, but the next week or the next couple days you got,
they had Skid Row. They've had, I think Warren G was there.
Warren G was there.
They keep getting all these just random ass... whoever's doing the booking is about our age, I think, because they keep...
That's what it is. Yeah. It's like people on their farewell tours who are like, oh shit, I need to make some money.
I heard I was at an estate sale this morning. There was an old guy bitching about he went to see who was it? Oh, Tesla. He went to see. He said, and they played like 2 songs I knew, and then they tried to play some shit off some new album they've got out that nobody gives a fuck about, and he was going on and on and on. Pissed off. I was like, well, buddy, that's what they do.
That's how they make a living.
I don't know if you know this, but that's how it works.
Yeah, I don't know how many CDs you were buying of their old shit from that vendor.
Yeah, I figure you got that shit on.
Oh, I tell you who I saw that is probably one of my favorite top to bottom was 3 Doors Down.
Yeah.
And I can't believe Counting Crows.
Oh, fuck.
Counting Crows are one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, me too.
Love them.
Really, we weren't in college in the 90s, were we?
So I tell you, the funny thing is that part of the reason that I love the Counting Crows is just how dramatic he is.
Oh, yeah.
Artistic, and it's more like poetry. And I've watched a lot of his stuff online, so I've seen him at concerts, so I knew what was coming. And Dixie knew how much I loved him, so we got backstage passes. I got to meet him. We got to hang out and have a beer. It was just all kind of cool stuff. And then we get out there, and he starts singing, and he was like, he comes out there, and it's like, you know, step out the front door like a ghost, and he's like, step out the front door like a ghost. And he's just so dramatic and all this stuff, and I'm just like, I guess awesome. If I want to hear the album, I'll put on the album version. And Dixie's like, the fuck is going on? What is he doing? Yeah. And the whole song is like that. And then he goes, he's crying. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm in heaven. Yeah. You know, granted, there was some lubrication that went along with that. Yeah. It was like a dream. I mean, we were like 3 rows off the stage, and I was loving it. And she was just like, I don't know what the hell you just
what you brought me to. Yeah. I went and saw Kiss at Rupp Arena like 3 days before the world shut down for COVID.
You got Makeup Kiss?
Yeah, it was a farewell tour, the 19th farewell tour. But anyway, it was like literally like 2 or 3 days before the world shut down. That was like my last memory of a concert, and I haven't been to any concerts, I don't think, other than the thing at the Paramount.
It's funny you say that because we talked a little bit about wrestling on a previous episode, and John Cena apparently is retiring, shutting it down, you know, as far as in-ring stuff. And I heard somebody the other day said, you know, they were like, you know, all these wrestlers come back. And he's like, no, John Cena's, you know, his body's kind of got to that point. He said, this isn't a Kiss tour.
Yeah.
This is what he said. This isn't a Kiss farewell tour. He really is done.
Yeah, and let's face it, John Cena doesn't need the money to go get in the ring and hurt himself.
And I have no problem with, you know, every single time Kiss goes back out with another farewell tour, I mean, they're just like printing money of you know, millions of dollars. So have at it.
Yeah.
Go have a million of them.
All these people that say, I'd never do that well, fuck you.
Yeah. And these guys are now probably pushing 70s, you know, whatever. I mean, who knows when the next farewell tour, if you're going to take a year or two.
No, Gene Simmons is fucking over 80 yet.
That's what I said there. I mean, because they would have been, because I guess originally they were almost 60s or 70s when they first started putting music out together, wouldn't they? So, I mean, they would have been 20 or something.
76. Gene Simmons, 76 years old.
I mean, they've been doing farewell tours since they were turned 60.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy Nights was the end, I think. Anyway, Gene Simmons is one of those guys I want to have at the convention eventually. He's done several, but I think he'd be cool. Anyway, anything else?
I bet he's another one of those that he's somebody that kind of fascinates me a little bit just in his demeanor, and I can never get a beat on him to where there's times where I think he's probably one of the most arrogant people I've ever seen as a public persona. And then there's times where you see him and you're like, not really that bad of a fucking dude. And he's maybe a little misunderstood.
I will tell you,
but he likes himself a lot, get on him. Why shouldn't he? You know, he's married to Playboy or they never married, but I mean, they've been together for 50 years.
I'll tell you, I was at a convention that he was a guest at one time, and you know, good on him here, but he had attorneys with him that would literally walk the vendor floor and look for unlicensed Kiss merchandise and issue you a cease and desist order immediately on site to get that out of your.
That's their bread and butter, man.
Yeah.
You're talking about somebody that's learned how to freaking market themselves.
Almost as bad as WWE, man. WWE, if we put a wrestler on our website that they're coming to the convention, I don't know if WWE has software that crawls the internet for them or what, but if it's a WWE owned image, I will immediately get a cease and desist email within usually 48 hours of posting that picture. I will get a cease and desist email that WWE owns that photo. And it's, you know, we book a guest. Say we book, I don't know, pick a name out of a hat. We book Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Fuck it, I don't know.
Yep.
I say, Jimmy, give us some photos to advertise you with. He sends us 5 photos. Guarantee 4 of them WWE owns because they own that character, you know. By the way, I've not booked Jimmy Snuka. I think he's a murderer. I don't know. It seems like I remember he killed somebody.
He killed somebody at some point.
I don't know. I think he's canceled either way. But if he sends us photos, guaranteed WWE probably owns them. Well, what the fuck am I supposed to do to get a picture to advertise this sumbitch? If WWE owns the character, they think they own all of the photos of the character. So all you could do in the technical legal sense is get some photo that somebody snuck of the son of a bitch at a show or something, you know.
That has marketing, because
yeah.
Or do you have to license his?
Oh, that's what they want you to do. They want you to license an image from them or whatever. Some of the wrestlers, I guess, own their likeness when they leave. It's however their contract's written.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, they don't own those character names or so.
I wonder if that's the reason that so many of them have started going to their real name.
I think that's probably, well, the gimmicks are almost a thing of the past, because just by nature, they're all stereotypes. And that's not, come up with a stereotype right now that would be acceptable to put on TV.
True.
Yeah.
Everybody gets butthurt about everything at this point.
Yeah. Even if you had Mario the plumber, plumbers and Italians would both be mad at you. I mean, it's just
I tell you, one of my favorite was always the Undertaker.
Yeah. I guess you could probably not piss funeral position.
They're probably good with that.
Yeah, they probably good. But I don't know. Dead people probably be pissed off about it. Pretty sure he was dead.
Up out of the grave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was dead.
He was dead.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, you got a question?
So my question is not necessarily as much theory, but it kind of made me think about it because of like something you've said over the past couple weeks, and actually what you had, some stuff you talked about today in the 25-year, being the same. My question is, if you were going to have a ghostwriter write a biography about you, what would you want the actual name of that biography to be? And what would be some of the kind of the chapters following them? And most importantly, now at this point, what do you think it is kind of the prevailing thing for the next 5 to 10, or what you think it'll be?
I don't know. I think about this a lot. You and I have talked about this considerably. Anyway, the overarching themes of my life are definitely the reptile thing and the comic and toy thing. Chapter wise, everybody has, my story starts at birth almost. Everybody has their early childhood, their high school years, probably their college years, and then as a young adult, you're just out beating yourself up every day trying to figure out what you're doing with your life or where you are with your life. And I knew. And
that you're saying that only happens in your earlier years? You're saying that you're not at this point beating yourself up?
Every fucking day. Yeah, every fucking day. Yeah.
You were just setting up a story. I apologize.
And Jackson the other day told me, he said, man, I get up every day, go to work, get home from work, dark.
I tell you what, the benefit of getting to the point that we're at age-wise is that fear that happens or is kind of in the back of your head whenever you're in your 20s of like, am I ever going to get to a point to where I'm secure? Or, it's just like that fear's like, okay, great, I got a good job, and now I got to get to the next. And I think once you kind of get to our point, you're always kind of chasing some of that next, but you also get to that comfortability to where it's like 3 to 5 years from now, I'm probably going to be okay.
Yeah, it's like I do think that a lot, but then at the same time, I think it scares me to death to think this is it.
Yeah.
Is this it? Is this where I finish up? Is this?
It's funny you say that, because that's one of the things that I tell Dixie. One of my biggest fears of life is Groundhog Day, and I think we've talked about that a little bit on here. And that's kind of where I'm battling myself a little bit, because I kind of almost feel like that's what's happening. Like I want to be on a beach. If I'm gonna have Groundhog Day, I want to be at a beach house or doing something and kind of enjoying life a little bit more, not going, oh, I got to do 60 deals. That's to do what I did last year. I got to do 65 deals or whatever, whatever that number is. But
I think a lot, I kind of have the same mentality. It's like, oh, I need 4 or 5 good deals this year, and then I can coast the rest of the year or whatever.
Never do.
Well,
but no, it is. It is. I know exactly what you're saying because, like I said, it is a frustrating thing to be at this point of it's just different shit you're worrying about, right? When you're in your 20s, but um,
The dogs are taking over the
yeah,
podcast. I'm watching them in the camera. I got Franklin's head poked up in the front of your shot, and JR's paw sticking up where you're rubbing his belly now. It's like, damn, boys, Jesus. I don't know. It's probably one of the stupid things I say all the time. The girls are keeping a running tally of every time I say something stupid. I think they write them down. But I have 1,000.
like your shit far grandma.
Yeah. It'd be one of those.
Shit far.
I like fuck them if they can't take a joke. That might be a good book title. Suck me off with a breast pump. I like that one.
The ups and downs of.
Yeah. Well, suck me off with a breast pump. I don't know. It'd probably be one of those, really. I think a lot of times, I always thought when I was like 20 or 25, I always thought, well, I'm just going, one of these days, I'm just going to write a book. And it's just going to be 101 stupid ways to make money. And then, of course, the last chapter is write a stupid ass book. But I used to just love going out and trying to find money where other people leave it laying. And that started from way early on, out catching snakes and selling, or whatever. I don't know. I always find myself, even now that I'm halfway secure or whatever, I'm only insecure because of my own fucked up brain most of the time.
Yeah.
I'm either insecure in my own head, so I have to do something else, or my own head causes me to actually be insecure,
Yeah.
or it causes me to do stupid shit and fuck myself up. But I'm subject at any time to. My accountant called me the other day. He said, "Do you realize how much money you lost putting that fucking pet store in last year?" And I said, "Yeah, but it kept me happy for a month." Arguably, and I don't know if this is right or wrong, and this is for later in life to judge. I could cruise by on the Comic-Con and on What the Geek does. If I did nothing else, I could be good. No worries. But I can't, in my mind, you have to get that set up and walk away from it and do something else. And the something else has fucked me up a lot. I'm constantly trying to find another winner. So it's almost a gambling mentality. It's like, well, I won this poker game.
Okay.
Let's play 10 more.
Interesting.
I don't know. God, I wish I could.
Because I think that if I was in a position where I had kind of an autopilot,
Yeah.
not saying that you don't put work and
No,
everything with the con, but if I
bad.
had an autopilot to where I could basically go, okay, I'm good. This is going to be sustainable for the rest of my lifetime, and I'm good. I would just take the fucking win and put a budget together for travel, and that would be it. I would not be out there pushing and hustling and trying to think. I do pretty well, but my thought is, okay, if I didn't do this, I could probably make it 20 years or whatever, 25, probably couldn't make it till death in all honesty, but I also want to leave something for the kids. And I also want to not be one of those people that is good enough to make it to 80, 85, 90 years old. And then everything is gone. And you're like, okay, I just accomplished all this and now I've become a burden to the family.
Yeah. Both of my stores are sustainable on their own. They both make a little money. They both the comic shops. The Kingston store makes good money. The Ashland store makes a little money with zero input from me. I don't have to ever go there. I don't have to fuck with it. I just have to buy stuff and give them now. But I don't even have to do that. They do that. I just feel like I have to. But I insist on buying that fucking warehouse this year. That makes it easier to store all the bullshit that I buy and have a place to store things for the con and things like that. But in truth, I don't need that building. Had I just left the two.
But you'd had to keep the two big rentals though, right?
Nope. If I quit doing any of the bullshit, all the building aspect of the office at the tower was purely vanity. It was just, I wanted a place to go hide and put cool shit.
Yeah.
The warehouse was simply a place that we stood up through COVID to do eBay out of. We barely do eBay anymore. Then it became a catch-all for shit that they didn't want at the stores. I could have liquidated that place, came home, sat at my house, let the stores done what they wanted to, planned a con from a laptop on the beach somewhere.
See, now that would have been me.
And been perfectly good.
So that's what I need for you.
I feel like if you're not growing, you're dying.
But on the flip side of that, for me, I feel like the healthiest and the best mental state that I'm at is whenever I am on a cruise or I'm at the beach or I'm something to that effect. That's me personally. So I feel like I wouldn't die because I would probably thrive, and that would probably, in all honesty, trigger me to the point of going, because some of the best ideas I've ever had in the world have been whenever I've been sitting at the beach by myself.
Being Confucius.
Yeah. And yeah, well played.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
that's what I need for you to let me give you some funds and you develop a sustainable turn it off business that I get to I can walk away from.
No. And I'll tell you what.
Because you don't want to walk away. I do.
No. Because people, and you know this, people judge you. Okay, so I have Lexington gone, and that has done very well for me. It really has. I've been super blessed with that. And maybe imposter syndrome or whatever, I started to say, I don't know how we did it. But yeah, I did. I had enough good people around me that they kind of took what I wanted to do and turned it into reality. But either way, that is a success. My stores, the Ashland store struggled a little bit in the beginning. The Huntington store struggled a lot in the beginning, but through sheer willpower of both of their managers, both those stores are doing great now. But almost everything else I've ever tried to start has been just a colossal fuckfest of a failure.
Well, I'll tell you what, to me, though, to give you some additional flowers, is both those businesses somehow, some fucking way, survived COVID.
Yeah.
That is, to me, just fucking amazing that both of them retail stores for shit that you don't really need.
Well,
want.
One thing I don't know if you caught though is, man, if anything did well through COVID, it was the fucking collectibles market. COVID was really good to Jarrod.
And I was the same way. I think, but I think we're definitely the anomaly.
I'll take COVID again tomorrow. I'll even get sick twice. As long as nobody I know, well, say that. Anyway, I'm just saying it was not a bad thing for my bit. It was a rough few months. But man, once we adapted a little bit, it was one of those things where if you didn't learn to adapt, you died, and if you did, you thrived.
But what I'm saying, they're primarily retail or the way they're set, and you smartly shifted and did what you had to do online or whatever at that point. So, I mean, you just made good business decisions to get through that gap, and then I guess all hell broke through like we did. But
one of my favorite restaurants in Ashland is Shogun. And she told me, the lady that owns it, told me that they didn't want to reopen after COVID. They just wanted to do DoorDash because they were doing so much better.
With all the overhead.
DoorDashing with no overhead, with no servers.
Yeah.
And it was literally her and her husband in there cooking every day, handing orders out the door through DoorDash. But the people that owned the shopping center they were in basically told them that they didn't want them to use the building for that. If it wasn't a public facing building, then they didn't want them to be there, and they didn't want to move because they thought people wouldn't see it as the same place or whatever.
Yeah, they'd think
so they kind of half-ass opened it for a year. They were only open like 2 days a week or whatever. But, I think they're fully open again now. But lots of business, you had to adapt.
Yeah.
And those that did came out on top. Anyway, my whole point, though, is I fucked up a lot of shit along the way, and people don't see those.
But I think that's why having a biography is good, because, I mean, people see the success.
Maybe.
And too often we think, because I got this all the time with the real estate as well. I did really well, or still do really well, but they don't see how much I freaking hustle. They don't see everything behind it. They don't see the ingredients that kind of goes into the cake. And I think that's the reason that people like biographies, is because you get to learn something about those. But
and
don't you want to revisit all your fuck ups and reminisce and live in them again?
Man, I'll tell you what, I remember shit, man. You know, I'm very bought into how I got here or whatever. I remember all the stupid stories all the way back, you know, and I do have trouble putting things in chronological order a lot of times, like when did that happen or whatever. But I don't know. I remember a scary amount of shit even from my childhood and stuff. And how far back this is a good conversation. How far back do you remember?
That's what I said.
What's your earliest, some of your earliest core memories?
It's funny enough that I've had this conversation with a few different people for whatever reason. I don't remember. I remember a few things, mainly when I'm a teenager. I remember weirdly enough, whenever I was in sixth grade, whenever my parents bought the first house and going, I kind of remember some remnants of the apartment. So I just remember little scattered things. I remember one Christmas very specifically that, you know, because we got a bicycle and it was just, that was everything, whatever. I don't know what age I was, but there was also there was a funny memory from that time to where there was they'd got us those little punching bags that fall over and get up. And of course we got up in the middle of the night and to go in there, and I was like, I kind of bumped it and it does this. And I'm like, lose my mind. So, you know, just little stuff like that. But I don't remember. I just remember having a great childhood overall.
Can you name every teacher you ever had from kindergarten up? Well, who's your first grade teacher?
My first grade teacher was Miss. I do not remember I remember a first grade teacher, a kindergarten teacher, I think was Stevenson. I remember my third grade teacher really well, second grade teacher was Miss Turner. That was just not a great year for me. She wasn't super fantastic, not my favorite. Mrs. Beak was my third grade teacher.
Did you go to school at Raceland?
Yep.
The reason I ask this, my dad, who's he's 75 now. He can name every teacher he ever had. I can name every teacher I ever had. Katrina can name every teacher she ever had. Amanda, that manages my Huntington store, can remember nothing prior to third grade. She can't. She knows she went to school in Huntington in third grade, but she had transferred there in third grade. But she doesn't remember where she knows that she was born in Florida because the birth certificate says so. But she remembers nothing about living or going to school in Florida or any of that. And I think that just blows my mind.
To me, the first thing that pops in, and, you know, it's not podcast, but was there some type of trauma?
I don't know. That she and I have talked about that a lot. Like, is there something you're blocking? And she just kind of laughs it off. Fuck, I don't know, maybe. Yeah. You know, whatever. But anyway, I think that just blows my mind because I do so vividly. I can tell you stories from kindergarten. I can tell you stories from every class I ever had.
That is not something I can recall. Like, I can remember the teachers and kind of remember, you know, being like my third grade teacher is probably one of the teachers that had the biggest impact on me. So I remember some stuff from that class. I remember the second grade teacher. The things I remember about her are negative because I remember they still allowed to. She was one of those that almost did the Catholic school smack your hand with a ruler because that was still available. You know, I think I almost got paddled because paddling was still a thing whenever I was in like fourth and fifth grade.
Yeah. I mean, I had so many impactful teachers in my life. I think some good, some bad. I was a real fucked up kid. You know, I was all over the board. So definitely teachers made a huge impact on my life, depending on if they, I guess, saw and recognized how to reach me or not.
Yeah.
I had horrible teacher experiences and great ones. So,
because there was one time that I remember maybe about sophomore, junior year in high school, and wasn't necessarily unconfident, but didn't have a lot of confidence at that point. And I think one of the times that one of the teachers, I I can't remember what we had to do. We had to do something that's like, what do we wish we'd have in life or something like that. And then I said, well, I wish I was tall, dark, and handsome or something to that effect. She could tell it was in a way that I truly wished I was tall, dark, and handsome. I was trying to be an asshole.
Yeah.
And I went to tell this story a few different times, but once I tell it, you'll understand why I'm like, should I tell that or not? But she was like, honey, I don't think you realize that you're 5'10", 5'11", you know, she's like, that's pretty tall for most people. She says you're a good look. But the way she did it was not in a predatory, right. And that's, especially in this day and time, you hate to tell something like that, but it was just like, I remember it had a big impact on me to like, okay, I'm not that I had instant confidence and was like, oh, great, I got a teacher that's, 60 or whatever it is. But it was just the fact that she took the time to care about that stuck with me to where I carried it on throughout.
Yeah, I had zero confidence through until sophomore year, and I somehow or another I managed to trick a older, better looking girl into hanging out with me a lot. And shout out to Heather, and she instilled in me the confidence of that I did not earn or deserve or whatever. But anyway, so she made me very full of myself for a while.
That's nice.
So anyway, worked out.
So
here we are.
So I want to read that chapter.
Yeah, that's good. That's good times. Good times. I got lots of good stories there. Good times.
So do you have it? I know you said it'd be one of the names. Have you settled on what you think the name of the book would be?
I don't know. It's you know what? The name of my book might be How the Fuck Did We Get Here?
I think that's a great name.
Really?
Because you got to think that these titles are what's going to initially draw people in, and and people are going to read the blurbs and.
Yeah, I and the long and short of that is I have no fucking idea how I got here. If I'd have picked 1,000 things that I would be doing technically as a job and for a living, I would have never dreamed that I'd be as lucky as I am.
Business owner.
No, just as lucky as I am to be able to do all the fun shit that I do. Yeah. Because I truly consider what I do to be one of the best jobs in the world. Like I literally get to go out and fuck off, play with toys all day. And today, my job today, okay, tell you about my day. Overslept till about 9:30 or so. I try to get up at 8:30, just self-imposed. I overslept a little bit. Franklin didn't want to get out of bed. I had canine paralysis. He was laying across my chest.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
You didn't need to be a dick and wake him up.
Right. I mean, you don't want to wake the dog up when he's sleeping. So anyway, I get up, take a shower, feed the fish, feed the lizards, check on the snakes, went to the office. I got to the office about 11:30 and decided I have a convention coming up at the end of October. It's called Scarefest, the Scarefest in Lexington. It's a killer show.
Yeah.
Plug for them, thescarefest.com. I'll be vending there. Come buy some shit off of me. But so for a year, I've been hoarding up horror toys. Horror toys. Horror toys are completely different.
Those are the ones in the closet.
Yeah. Horror movie related shit. I've been hoarding for the better part of it. I do it all year long. I build pallets all year long and say stuff for Scarefest. And today I got to the office and I said, well, I need to build my Scarefest booth. So I have a 20 by 20 booth there, which I have now constructed in the middle of my office. And I'm now setting the booth up as such that it will be at Scarefest. So all day long, we were pulling toys out of storage, looking through them, pricing them, and putting them in this mock booth. And I'll leave that set up in my office until the week before Scarefest, and then I'll pack it all up according to how it's laid out. That way, when I get there, all I have to do is unload the truck and set everything where it goes. So all day long,
that is probably the smartest, most un-Jarrod thing I've ever heard you say.
I do plan for shows.
I
don't go.
It's smart. I mean, that way you know what it's going to look like. Yep. There is no guessing.
Yep.
You let it set up for a month or so, and you're like, okay, 3 days from now, whatever the fuck's on there is not going to be the same design. Probably you're going to move.
Well, I'm going to find something else laying around. I'm going to spend the month of October basically building this booth with stuff I find laying around the fucking warehouse or my house or whatever, anything that I think I can go there and make a nickel off of. But I am bad to do that, especially bigger shows. I want to build the booth and see what it's going to look like before the show. I do believe
I bet you
that,
wish that 90% of your people at your convention did the same thing.
Oh yeah,
that had some method to their madness.
Yeah, I know my shit is going to fit in the 20 by 20 spot that I'm allotted, and I know.
You're not going asking for another foot. What can we do here? Can I move?
And 3 weeks out, I'll order my electric and my internet and all that shit that I needed in the booth. I'm nothing if not a prepared vendor at a comic convention. Now, I go to reptile shows just fucking willy-nilly. A lot of times I'm like, which is funny because I got, getting started at 19 or 20 years old, Jackson's mom and I would go do a reptile show, and I wanted to, even though I didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, I wanted to look like the biggest vendor in the room. Fake it till you make it. I wanted to be, so I would go set up these massive, big, elaborate booths and look like I just had a 100,000 square foot facility somewhere or whatever. When in truth, the booth was much more involved than what I was actually had at home, So, but that helped me get my name out there a lot, and we'd go to some bigger shows and do that. Anyway, anything else? Have I sufficiently beat your fucking question to death? Not really, but...
Yeah, so I think we know that. Just give me a couple, or I guess to end this off, what do you think, or what would you hope the next chapter title is going to be?
I don't have a clue. We've talked about this till I'm want to puke thinking about it.
Well, just the title, not necessarily.
The title.
What's going to be in there? What would you like the title to be, as far as like the direction of what you want?
I don't know. I'm kind of hoping for the bridge right now. I just want to take a couple years and just stretch out what I got a little bit and see. Actually, what I'm going to call this chapter. I got it. We're going to call this chapter "Feed the Fat Kid."
Feed the fat kid, huh?
Which means. Birds, if they have 3 birds in the nest and one of them's weak, they'll feed the 2 healthy ones and kick the fucking weak one out of the nest.
So you don't want to be the one booted.
Well, no, what I want to do is feed the aspects of my business that are being successful for the next couple of years and then not try something new for the next couple of years, I think. And just let the stores and the convention just continue to grow and flourish without me robbing them of money to open another pet store or something.
Yeah. Well, and by doing that too, probably don't you also have the opportunity during those 2 years to get them even stronger?
Yeah.
To be able to go, okay, now I can start something new, and that can have 90% of my attention, and you people get 10%.
Oh, I just thought about this. I already fucked up. I already fucked this chapter up. Today, actually a little bit yesterday. But today I had a contractor working at the warehouse starting the renovation upstairs.
Okay.
I said I was going to wait till next spring, but it was eating at me. So I had him rip out that big box up there. Man, it looks like a whole different space up there. Just ripping out there's a weird box shelf thing built upstairs for no good fucking reason. We tore it all out. I bet it gave me an extra 200 or 300 square feet of floor space up there.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm anxious to see that, which I know is going to be the last thing. It probably is spring before the quote unquote podcast studio.
No, that's spring at least. That's May or June next year, I think, before we can get there. Because I've got to tell you, I have a number that I don't like my checking account to fall below. And it's teetering on the fucking edge every day right now. So I'm trying to continue working at a pace that I don't outpace the money we make, So luckily I have, like I said, I have a bunch of good people around me that will keep selling shit for me.
Well, but the good thing is that also too, you kind of started that a little earlier, but it's also something you could immediately shut down if things go a different direction. Go, I don't have to have that. That's a want, not a need. So you can feed the fat.
Franklin might be the fat. By the way, if there are any dog experts out there, Franklin, for the last 2 days, has quit using his dog door. Like, he's used it every day for 3 years that we've lived here. He's went in and out on his own. For the last 2 or 3 days, he will go out the dog door, but will not come back in it. He stands and barks at the door, and he's now trained me to open the door for him. So I need help. Help me, dog trainers of the internet.
I got to be an asshole. I'm sorry. I just did. Because the dog just trained you real quickly.
Yeah, it took him 3 days to train me to
to open the door.
Yeah.
And whenever I came in, you open the door, go, don't acknowledge the dogs.
Yeah.
So I come in. Normally I'm down, we're
Yeah.
having a good old time. So I'm just being a dickhead walking there. They're trying to tap me, and you're trying to teach them not to jump. So I'm like, all right, I'll play along. How long have you been trying to teach them not to jump?
Just about 3 days now or so.
Because I've heard you say, don't jump. Every time I've come over here for 6 months.
I always say that. But
I didn't really
tried to
mean
be,
it.
No, I have tried to be genuinely withholding affection from them when they're jumping. And I'm going to see. Yes, you. I'm going to see if that works, like after a few days. I don't know. I feel like Franklin might already be getting a little better. But the new rule is I'm not petting him or acknowledging he exists unless all 4 feet are on the ground, basically. Yeah. And I guess we'll see if that works. I thought it was weird at the time, but a kid in an elevator one time asked me if he could pet Franklin. And I said yes. And he kneeled down and he started to pet Franklin, and Franklin got excited. He jumped up kind of half-assed in his lap, and the kid just turned his back on him. And he said, I know I can't give him affection until he's good. And I thought that was the weirdest fucking thing ever. But I guess that's how you train a fucking dog.
Yep.
Really? I need that kid to come over and train him, maybe.
Come over and put him through this.
Yeah, anyway, I don't know why Franklin won't use the dog door, but we got to figure this shit out because I don't know, man. All right, that's the story of my life. So now you got it, and now the world's got it.
All right.
Nobody could see that, but there is a third camera in this room that JR, I guess, just commandeered or whatever. And now it looks like this. But anyway. All right. That's all
That's
I
a good
got.
place to stop.
Okay. See you later.
And just like that, another episode of Two Guys, Two Questions is in the books.
We laughed. We learned. Well, we mostly just laughed.
Yeah, and if you made it this far, congratulations. You now have random knowledge you never asked for.
You're welcome.
Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave a 5-star review. Or don't, but just know if you don't, we're bringing back the squeaky toys.
Well, it's coming back either way.
Until next time, same two guys, two questions, and absolutely no idea what we're doing.
Perfect.